Hello and welcome to this underworld chrysalis we are in. My name is Grant. I'm a quantum coach, a certified hypnotherapist, and for some reason I have a law degree. So I am here to guide you through this moment where we are navigating the depths and shadows of not only our own personal subconscious, but also the depths and shadows that exist within our systems of power. What am I talking about? We are in a span right now of about 10 days where there's some insane activity with Pluto. Pretty much everyone and their grandma is trying to bump up into Pluto. On January 17th, Venus entered Aquarius. Pluto is at the very beginning of Aquarius, and this is important because one, Pluto is the god of the underworld. Two, Pluto has not been in Aquarius since 1776. This is the Pluto return of the US empire. And yes, the fact that it takes 248 years for Pluto to go around is exactly why the average age of empire is 250 years. Your soul came here on a very specific mission at a very specific point in humanity's evolution if this found you. And here's what you need to know to navigate this next leg of the journey through the underworld. So, like I said, January 17th, Venus entered Aquarius. Doesn't stop there. January 18th, the moon entered Aquarius. We had a new moon, the brand new beginning of a lunar cycle, exactly conjunct the same degree of the United States Pluto. So where Pluto was in the sky when the United States was formed. Boom, right? Next day, January 17th, the sun enters Aquarius. Next day, the 20th, Venus is conjunct, exactly lined up at the same point in the sky with Pluto. That same day on the 20th, we have Mercury move into Pluto. So Mercury, being the messenger who can travel freely through the underworld, is going to bring up something from the depths, something that was not conscious to us. Shadows, secrets are coming to light, both in our personal lives and in terms of systems of power, the powers that were, world leaders, all of that, right? It will be interesting to see if anything comes out in the files this week in the United States, if you know what I'm saying. On the 22nd, we then have Mercury conjunct Pluto, so another day of revelations, secrets, things that were buried in the depths and the shadows of the subconscious and the underworld coming to light, coming to the conscious level of awareness where we can actually do things with that information. We also have the next day, the 23rd, a Pluto Cazimi. So Pluto will be exactly where the sun is in the sky. This is like the brand new beginning of a new cycle for Pluto. Then we also that same day have Mars enter Aquarius. And then on the 27th, Mars is conjunct Pluto. So this span of about 10 days is pretty revolutionary, I would say, in nature as we travel through this underworld period. And one thing I'm called to share is that people fear the depths of the subconscious, people fear their shadows, people fear the underworld, people fear Pluto. And that's because they fear the unknown. But the reality is, once you take these things that already exist, right? If dark secrets come to light, those dark things already happened. It's not something new. And it's actually empowering to be able to be aware of it. If something is buried, swept under the rug and you don't know about it, you're not conscious of it, you're not able to stand in your power because you're not able to do anything with that information. So these things coming to light is all part of the process. It's how we regain agency and decide, actually, we don't want to keep doing those things anymore. We don't have to keep repeating the same cycles. And it's also like when the light gets brighter, we are ascending in the Yuga cycle. Civilization, humanity's consciousness, Earth's consciousness is ascending into 5D. As consciousness and light get brighter, the shadows get darker, right? It's all part of the process, not something to fear. And what will come up for us is where we have given our power away. Because Pluto is not only the planet of death and rebirth and transformation, but also the planet of power. And really, the reason we give away our power in the first place is because of our fear of being God. What do I mean by that? When you have an adverse experience, especially early in life, during our formative years, you internalize limiting beliefs such as, when I stand in my power, bad things happen. I hurt myself, I hurt others, etc. And from that limiting belief, it becomes easier to give your power away to things outside of you, to systems of power, to other people, to your boss, to your partner, your family, whatever you're outsourcing your power to. And how does that show up in your life? That shows up as, I can't change my life because my family is a certain way. I can't change my life because my job is a certain way. Well, guess what, baby girl? You're the main character. You are God, and you chose to incarnate here and have that experience. So, by falling into that cycle of outsourcing your power, you're really just repeating that cycle over and over. It is when you realize that you're creating everything you experience that you reclaim your power, and that requires the ability to hold light in the underworld. This also brings up for me, especially with all of this starting with Venus entering Aquarius, and Venus having the first conjunction with Pluto, it's bringing up the mythology of Psyche to me. She is Venus's daughter-in-law. She marries Eros, and before she's able to do that, she is sent on this impossible mission in the underworld, where she is completely hopeless and she does not think she will make it out alive. The gods, and particularly Jupiter, see this happening and they grant her immortality. Not only do they rescue her from the underworld unexpectedly, but she becomes an immortal goddess. She gets placed in the night sky, right? And the reason I share that is because the etymology of Psyche is very interesting to me. Psyche, the name of that goddess in ancient Greek, means soul. So, what that tells us is that narrative is really the soul's journey. Are you able to go into the depths of the unconscious and then through those depths reach new heights? Energy is a wave. So the depth, the magnitude, the amplitude of the trough is equal to the magnitude of the crest. The deeper you go in consciousness, the higher you are able to go. And that's something that comes up a lot with spiritual bypassing. A lot of people think our soul's mission is to just be high vibrational as much as possible at all costs. And that's there is some truth in that, of course, but the reality is our soul came here to experience the depth and range of the full spectrum of human emotion, human consciousness, human experience. So you really can't even get as high as you can go in consciousness without also embracing your depths and your shadow. This period is asking us to hold loving space for our shadow and whatever arises during this time. Psyche not only means soul in ancient Greek, it also means butterfly. So you can really think of this journey into the underworld that we're experiencing as a chrysalis. That is exactly the metaphor of that mythology, right? You're getting torn apart, you've lost your body, you're formless, you're in the dark, you feel like you're dying, but really it's just your rebirth into your highest form that is capable of flight. Last note on the meaning of Psyche here that was interesting to me is it also literally means to cool by blowing out, so like to exhale. And that's very interesting to me because the etymology of the word nirvana also means to cool down. So, how I'm interpreting this in our underworld journey is when we have really elevated emotions, how can we regulate ourselves? How can we exhale, use our vagus nerve, the tree of life, to stay calm, stay in a state of peace, and remember who we really are, remember our soul, remember that we are God and all is God, and we chose to have this experience and to continue to co-create it as we ascend through consciousness, which also requires descending into the subconscious. And the astrology doesn't really end with this underworld journey, because next month, February 20th, we have a 1 in over 6,000 year conjunction. It's between Neptune, planet of the subconscious, dreams and imagination, and Saturn, the planet of karma, time, systems, and institutions. They are at the 0 degree of Aries, the brand new beginning of an entire new zodiac cycle, first degree in the whole zodiac, the creator degree, the most powerful degree. This has not happened since 4300 BC. So keep that in mind as shadows come to light, both in your personal life and at the global stage. Remember, this is all part of the great unveiling we chose to experience, and this grand reset of building a brand new cycle for humanity that has not existed for 6,000 years. The last time Neptune entered the 0 degree of Aries was literally the day after the US Civil War started. What was the Neptune dream of that moment and the institution that starts with S? Did that happen? No, because Saturn was not there supporting Neptune to make the dream real. This time, they are together at the most powerful degree in the entire zodiac together. It is our moment to make that dream real. We are no longer going to continue with systems that are based in those forms of oppression and limiting human consciousness, systems that do not value life. It is the end of those systems. The writing is on the wall, the expiration date is there, whether you look at Pluto or whether you look at this historic conjunction with Neptune and Saturn on the 20th. I'm actually hosting a workshop, I'll drop a link in the description, on the 20th to really make the most of this quantum portal. There will be guided trance, hypnosis, there will be breakdown of the astrology and how it will relate to your chart, and we'll have time for some integration, discussion, and themes that come up as we collectively set our intentions to build and embody the new earth together for the highest good. One last note on this workshop, it's risk-free. You can sign up for free to reserve your seat, and you will only end up paying if you attend and receive value. So I want to make this accessible. It's been really awesome over the past year to grow my business as a hypnotherapist, and I'm super excited for obviously this grand reset that humanity is experiencing, this metamorphosis, but also I'm excited for this specific smaller chapter of my career, hosting my first workshop that is designed to be accessible to folks across the spectrum. So if that interests you, go ahead and reserve a seat with the link below. I also have links to my website if you're interested in working with me one-on-one with coaching or hypnotherapy. Thanks so much for being here. It is truly such an honor, and I'm filled with so much gratitude every day that we get to live through and co-create this moment together. Much love. Bye.